And we're with Randall and David one more time, and Randall's going to talk about Leviathan, their work in progress miniatures game.
Yeah, this was actually a project brought to us by one of our longtime BattleTech fans, John Hayward, and we fell in love with it. It was we thought a really unique concept, and one that we wanted to try to run with. The basic concept is that in the 1870s, Tesla developed the technology to levitate large-scale objects. And so in classic Harry Turtle Dove alternate history fashion, you then extrapolate this one pivotal change in history and then naturally progress how would the world develop if this had happened. So the miniatures game that we're developing is set in 1910. The world superpowers have evolved from wet navies into air navies, and of course, it's a prelude to World War I. So they're starting to, bump heads and border skirmishes. Things are not looking good. And the basic concept is the first set would have two factions in it, two major world powers, and then each subsequent set that we would come out with would introduce additional factions that you can play in the game. The basic concept of the game is it is going to be hex-based. We wanted to have the feel of easy visual movement, so you could tell exactly where you're going very easily. It's also fleet-based, so instead of just taking one or two miniatures, you're talking, somewhere between 4 to 6 miniatures out of the box set is what you would actually be fielding. And your battleships, you got to pair them up with your cruisers. Your frigates, if you're going to, appropriately fend off the other guy that's coming at you. So that's the basic concept. What we've done visually is we're trying very hard to stay very true to that historical time. A lot of research has been done going back to the Jane's books, looking at those old ships very carefully, seeing what made each of those unique. We've been working with Doug Chafee, who is a phenomenal artist. He's done BattleTech for years and years, works for NASA. I believe he has a painting sitting in the White House. This is a really wonderful artist. He has a very rich history in naval painting, and he's bringing that skill to work with us to help develop the unique look of, during this time, the British, the French, the Germans, they had very unique looking ships. How do we stay true to that and evolve it naturally into what would have happened if those ships had suddenly been able to be deployed in the air? We have some sketches here that we have. These are concept sketches in the works. This is the French Leviathan. The nacelles along the bottom are what we're calling the Tesla coils. These are what actually enable the ship to levitate. It has some of the features of those early, don't want to get in the way here, but down here along the bow and along the bottom of the ship, these are things that really reflect the French ships at the time. They also, and I didn't even know this until I started in the research, they actually had electric elevators in some of their masts, and so the mast here is extra thick and large, more so than some of the other ships, to help reflect some of those. We have another sketch. The German Leviathan, which again, moving the nacelles more into the side and into the bodies, the Tesla coils, they also were more about brute strength. So as opposed to the French ship, which has a little thinner bow, little thinner lines, this is more brute strength type of visual ship. These are the type of things that, even outside of gameplay, while we're trying to make the game very, very smooth, very fun, very enjoyable, we also want to make sure that any historical type of gamer who thinks, hey, I'd be okay with ships flying through the air and having a fun time playing that game, that they're going to be able to look at these ships and feel that we've paid proper due to the reality of what those ships were like during that time. That's still very much in development now. We're doing play testing. I believe I'm in the 3rd or 4th iteration of the rules. We got a lot of really cool prospects and directions and thoughts about what we want to do with that.
So do you have any, is there any set information about what the box set's going to be, like what factions are going to be in it?
No, everything's up in the air. Currently, the thought...
No pun intended.
Yeah, exactly, no pun intended. Currently, the thought is the British and the French. Whether that will actually be that way, we're just not sure yet. But there'll definitely be 2 factions in the box set, and then in expansions, you'd have 2 additional superpowers that'll come out of each one.
Now, so I guess depending on the popularity of the game and whether it goes off, is this going to be the same sort of thing as BattleTech, where there's going to be sort of an evolving and living storyline?
Absolutely, that is absolutely the plan. All of us are, most of the people involved, Lauren and I, are big history buffs, and I would love to take this alternate history approach and evolve this into the launching of World War I and see where we can go with it and the fun we can have telling good stories for our players.
Excellent, sounds exciting.
Thank you.